Against the Ropes podcast.
Ball went back against the rope. He's desperately trying to
Against the
cover
ropes,
up.
number one.
Ali won't extend himself while Lyle's against the rope. But Ali fell twice.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Against the Ropes podcast. Gio Garcia here alongside Christian Mosqueda. We're back. We're back, baby.
We are back.
Yeah, we're back. And we have a special guest here joining us. You might have seen her on Ring TV's YouTube channel doing interviews. Or you might have seen her on Instagram at The Real Fight Girl. Or you might have seen her on other people's podcasts, right? Or you might have seen her on her own podcast, right? Ladies and gentlemen, Cynthia Conte joining us once again.
Hey guys, how are you? Happy quarantining. But thanks for inviting me back. It's a little different this time, but you know, we're going with the times, and there's really something in my eye right now. Sorry, guys. Okay. At least I don't have eyelashes on, but now I still have eye leakage because of my allergies.
We need to come up with a code word, huh? Because we're live. Yeah. If you need a break, what should it be? Boxing?
Arab. Bob Arab.
No, it's good.
We'll come up with one. Yeah, so what's new? How's life?
It's going. It's been different to be home when you're traveling most of the time and to be, sedentary and just stuck at home where you have to learn how to really use your computer, really be a tech savvy and be a tech nerd. I think all of us will hopefully come out a tech nerd after this. I mean, I don't know yet, but we'll see. But it's been good. I've been able to keep busy, stay busy, and, just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
Right. How about you guys?
Same, just adapting, right? We are actually in our home. We have a little home studio now. I know you're used to seeing the studio at the university. Everything's, already there. So Gio's been having to adapt.
And it's a little more work.
If he wasn't a nerd before, he's like another level nerd now. But no, it's adapting, learning. Yeah, like you said, Cynthia, just going with the times, with the technology, and so just have to adapt.
No, it's very true. We all are doing it, and I had to build my own podcast studio, my own interviewing little desk here because that's just how you have to do it now.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Yeah, and it's great that you have your podcast going. I think one of the few times that you came on our show, you're like, we mentioned that. Like, it'd be cool to have an all women cast. You guys have a different perspective. You guys are on the come up, and so with Miss Gloria, with all these.
Nancy has her own podcast too as well.
Yeah.
I listened to her first episode with yourself. All right. So let's talk about your podcast. What's the name of it? Where can we find it? I know you're dropping a new episode tomorrow, right?
Ooh, yeah. I am. My new podcast, same as my YouTube channel, The Real Fight with Cynthia Conte. You can find it on anchor.fm and also Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But it's, it first started out as boxing because that is my reach, obviously. But then when I really learned about people's stories, I felt that I had, what would you say? I had to give someone the platform to really tell their story. And it's not just a boxing background. They just happen to be athletes. And the things that they've gone through in life, the adversity, the obstacles, they're very powerful. They're very compelling. And they're stories of human beings that really struggle and they come out not necessarily on top, but they still come out fighting and they still fight. So those were, very human stories to me that just happen to be athletes. So, but it's, it's kind of it's really been a passion project for me.
Nice, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And Cynthia, I know you had a project with one of our friends at Break Media. You guys did a little segment with Bob Arum, which was I thought it was awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about that for the people that have not seen it?
Well, that was actually my very first one. So Jay Chandri of Break Media, he co-produced my first episode. And the way that came about, 80th and Hustle with Bob Arum, it was when the quarantine happened, he put it out there, who needs help? And I'm like, well, I don't know how to start a podcast and I'm stuck at home. So I may as well ask him. And he really helped me. And then when he realized who my guest was, he was like, I want to co-produce this with you. And so we turned it into an audio series because I went through 5 decades of his life. And, there's some things that people don't know about him that we only know, majority of the people know from when he's a promoter on. People didn't know he was a lawyer. People didn't know he worked for JFK. People didn't know he didn't even like boxing. Like he didn't give a shit about boxing. So there were a lot of different things that, I mean, even the old, boxing writers, like the old school writers, they would text me or DM me. It's like, wow, this was a fascinating podcast because they didn't know certain things about Bob Arum. And he is so whip smart and just he can remember everything like it happened yesterday. So that was what was so beautiful about it, and just telling his story, going down memory lane with him. We wanted to make it a musical journey through his life, and it just happened to be that when I interviewed him, it was 2 days after his anniversary, his boxing anniversary, and it was a really special interview to me.
Yeah. No, I thought that was great. I mean, like you say, he has decades and decades of experience. Sometimes it takes a certain person to take those stories out. They sometimes, like especially now in this age in the media, especially in boxing, they certain athletes, promoters, coaches, they get asked similar questions. But the being in a podcast, digging deep, and being comfortable with the interviewer, you get to get stories that you can't get maybe at a fight presser or elsewhere.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, that was that kind of interview with Bob. It was 2 years in the making. I mean, I've had this thought, this idea for 2 years. I didn't expect it to be a podcast, but with what we have to deal with, I'm actually glad it turned into a podcast and audio series. And not all my podcast episodes are audio series because it's too hard. Like it's too much.
Yeah.
So those kind of series are really reserved for someone that's mega, their story
Big
is
time.
just incredible. And I do have another podcast, an audio series that's in the queue right now. It's being edited. That should have been my 3rd episode dropping, but there's so much to it that it's crazy. And then my second one was with Arash Markazi. People, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He writes for Los Angeles Times, and he's worked for ESPN. He's worked for many outlets. And his story, I mean, it's incredible. No one knew that about him, and people were texting me at the 15-minute mark, like, "Oh shit, I didn't know that about our Arash." I'm like, I know, right? So it's fascinating to really hear their story from their mouth, and I'm like, you should be dead right now. And they're like, I know. So it's kind of bananas to me. Nice. But and then the next one tomorrow that drops, I decided to drop it because it finished, it edited. And I'm like, what, this story has got to be told. And he's not in boxing. I met him through boxing, but he's an athlete. He's a football player. So I don't want to give too much away because his story, it's tragic, it's crazy, it's sad, it's inspiring, it's compelling, it's powerful. I don't know how else to explain it, but it made me, it made me feel what I do. It pushes me more to keep doing what I do. It really fueled me more. Like, I want to cry because it was so powerful. But all my stories like that, they really touch my own heart, and it makes me happy at what I do.
Yeah, let me send some shout outs here to the people in the comment section. Shout out to the Dr. Who's podcast. Shout out to Sean from Just Boxing. He says, shout out to Cynthia. Welcome to the podcast family.
Hi, Sean. Awesome. How are you?
Yeah, shout out also to Long Live Boxing. What's up to the panel and to the chat? Respect Respect to you guys, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. But let's go back to Bob. How did you get so cool with Bob?
Bob father.
You know, I don't. It's
Bob
weird
father.
that I don't know what it is. I think. Well, I mean, I just go up to Bob and I'm like, hey, Bob father, what's going on? And he just laughs. And I think that maybe because I don't really ask the same questions, you know, and I get it, because when you're at a media day, you're there to ask specific questions, obviously about the fighters. And I get my questions in, but then I also just, you know, I'll talk to him about weed. I don't know how to smoke. I don't smoke it, but he gave me a whole tutorial on it. It's on Ring. Like, he gave me a lesson on sativa, indica, how he eats his edibles, how he travels. I mean, it's crazy. I'm like, oh, okay. So, you know, we become really good friends. And so it's just like, I talked to him. And when the podcast came about, I said, Bob, are you able to do an interview for my podcast? You're going to be my first one. I didn't expect it to be an hour and a half. He's never given an hour and a half interview ever, ever. His PR people were like, wow. He hung up on accident. I'm like, oh shit. Like in mid-sentence, it went click. I'm like, hello? Yep. And I tried doing a Zoom and I'm like, do you know what Zoom is? No. Do you have Skype? No. Do you have Facebook? No. Cynthia, I don't know. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have to do a phone call and then record it that way through QuickTime. So it was it was different. So, but I'm actually glad that I didn't get video footage, because I was able to do it the audio way, where you hear the music and I really take you through time of what happened. But the other ones for my third podcast and my second audio series, I do have video footage of that, because there's good footage for that interview to go along with it. So yeah, but I don't know, Bob and I we're just cool. Like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know what it is. It's just like, what's up, Bob? And he's like, what up, Cynthia? He'll always make time for me, because it's I don't know. We just always have fun and we always laugh about stupid stuff.
Oh, nice.
And then it's normal for him to just, when he's done with the interview, he just gets up and walks away. Like, there's no closing out. I'm like, okay, bye, Bob. Okay. He just leaves me. I'm like, all right. But that's how he is.
Yeah. So I got to see Bob at the Lomachenko workout. I can't remember what fight it was exactly. I'm guessing maybe Campbell. Krolla. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I think he was 87 at the time. But I think he looks great for his age, right? You see. Oh yeah. Whatever he's doing, he's working out, because at 88,
it's the weed.
It's the weed.
No, he says that.
There's something in the weed.
He really credits that to his edibles. I'm not kidding.
When she said that he remembers everything and that he still.
That makes sense.
I was like, yeah.
Everything's so vivid, right? Yeah.
Yeah. He credited the edibles to even like fighting against the Rona, like trying to stay healthy. I mean, it was sad that, when it all happened, I interviewed him, 2.5 months ago. He couldn't see his grandkids. Him and his wife, Lovey, were just in the house, and he's like, it's terrible. But he really did take precaution, and he did not let anyone in the house. So that's why I couldn't even get a Zoom, because he did not know his computer. So
you know what? Talking about Bob, Top Rank is putting cards now in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
June is gonna be pretty busy 9, for them.
I like this, because he did mention that if they were gonna do cards, it would also be on the weekdays, because obviously it's open for them. And they're doing it on a Tuesday, Thursday, 2 weeks in a row. June 9th, 11th. I wrote it down.
The 12th, the 16th. Oh, 12 is not in Vegas, but the 16th, 9th, 18th, 11th, and 25th.
9th, June 9th.
Yes.
11th, 16th, and 25th.
Yeah, so, that's crazy. So starting this Saturday on ESPN Deportes, this is not Top Rank, but there's a card in Santo Domingo, República Dominicana. That's on ESPN Deportes this Saturday.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there was a fight in Nicaragua a couple weeks ago. Remember that when Roman Chocolatito came out? did an interview with a mask on.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw this when they were in the ring. They literally like blew them with a sanitizer. Did you see that?
Really? I didn't catch that.
Maybe it was a meme, but I go, you know what? This
Oh.
would probably be helpful because there are places you go through a sanitizer in Asia. You walk through a bar or something and they like almost like a car wash and they just
Spray you down.
yeah, a little spray down.
Yeah.
But
How did you feel about those fights at that time, Cynthia? Like when that fight was getting unveiled and they were gonna go through with this. How did you feel about that? Like at that time that this event got put together.
wait, which one are you talking
The
about?
Nicaragua boxing.
In Nicaragua,
fight.
I felt a little nervous, but at that time their numbers were low with the virus, and you know it's kind of like everyone's going to take a crapshoot at it because someone's going to have to do it. It's kind of like UFC. Who was going to come out of the gate doing live fights without an audience? UFC did it. And honestly, I actually liked the fights without an audience because you could hear every crack.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that because
Everything.
you're a UFC
I'm
fighter.
savage. I'm savage, so I like to hear that shit.
Because you're a UFC fan as well, right? So you were tuned into those fights.
You know, yeah, I am UFC, not to the point that I could tell you all the moves that's going on and you know the type of moves, but I've watched it. I'm a fan, but not enough to be like an expert. No, but I really enjoyed it. I got to watch the entire card from top to bottom. The undercard was stellar. He really did a good job of putting those cards together with no audience. It was honestly no different to me sitting at home watching the fights, but this time I could hear them say, my teeth are falling out. Or,
that was crazy.
You know, just like everyone saying, you know, Daniel Cormier, just, you know, he was kind of a coach without him even knowing it. And I liked it.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would be for boxing, but I would assume it's going to be the same. As long as all it comes down to is really everyone's health and safety. At the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this on the last podcast. It kind of also takes away from the crowd, right? In boxing, you clearly know who's the A side and the B side per se, and so the crowd really, you know, feeds into, you know, judging, you know, pushing for the favorite fighter to, you know, to close out, to, you know, maybe steal a round or two. How do you feel like this will affect, you know, boxing moving forward without, you know, that home crowd advantage, Cynthia?
Honestly, a couple boxers have said this, and at one moment in their life, when you come up as a fighter, you're gonna always fight with no fans. Either you don't have a home crowd that comes and cheers you on, so you're kind of used to not having anyone even there in the audience except the judges, maybe your family, your corner, and the commissioners. So and when you're in there, you're kind of in your own head of trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing, as opposed to like, am I hearing my name? You know, you're really focused and you're just trying to hear your coach, and you're looking at your own game plan. You're thinking of your game plan, because if you start thinking about the crowd and to egg you on, that's when you've already, I personally think you've already lost, because now your mental game is gone. You've lost mentally. But
kind of like
my opinion.
Yeah, kind of like we had Alfonso with us this past week, and he said the same. He's like, man, people didn't even root for me anyway. And he's like, and he said, I didn't really listen to the people, like, regardless. He was just so focused that he didn't listen. Like, he knew they weren't rooting for him, but I mean, he wasn't.
And that's almost like the underdog. It's just that, you know, you're going to be a B-side. And if you don't hear your name, it gives you more hunger. It's kind of like, now you're really put on the spotlight to really show us who you are when you don't have an entire crowd screaming your name when you're clearly losing.
Yeah. Let's go to some shout outs here on the comments section. We have Courtney Harden, Miss Cynthia Conte, my friend. Hey, what's up? And then he says, what's up to us?
I just did his podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's give him some promo.
Yeah, so he's from Philly. And it's called The Real Deal with Courtney Harden, and it's good. It was good. He knows his boxing, and we were talking about the same thing. This is before we even found out about the ESPN fights. So it's like, what would I like to see? How did I like the UFC fights without a crowd? And my podcast, and it's, you know, it's always good to talk boxing, because we've all kind of been out of the loop. We only kind of see what we're reading.
Yeah.
There was really, you can only ask someone, a fighter or anyone, about what would you like to see coming out of quarantine, or we didn't know how long quarantine is going to be. We didn't know when we're going to ever see another fight. So it was good to, once in a while talk boxing as opposed to sitting here editing, because my hands are, like I said, I know I'm not supposed to be an editor because it's not fun. It really hurts your hands. So yeah, but it's good. You guys should check it out. He's a cool cat.
Nice.
Shout out to you, Courtney Harden. I'm sorry, Courtney Harden. Yeah. And then just talking about a little bit about the schedule. There's a fight also June 6th. Carlos Molina is fighting in Mexico.
Okay.
That's not top ranked, but Carlos Molina is fighting. Of course, he fought against Kirkland. He fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. twice.
Yeah.
He fought Mike Alvarado. He's an older veteran, but June 6th, he's fighting in Pátzcuaro, Mexico. Carlos Molina.
Pátzcuaro. Mechi Munoz. Yeah, I have to. I mean, I shout out to Dan Rafael. I got his list. I mean, this is one
and we stole it from
complete
you.
list. One complete list. Because people didn't. I mean, people put just the ESPN, which is totally fine, but he put out the list everywhere worldwide. So I'm not mad at that. But yeah, I didn't even know. I did not know 80% of these fights were actually even going on.
Yeah.
When they say boxing was back, I'm like, okay, I know that there's one this Saturday. I had no idea about all the other ones, and I knew about the ESPN, but I didn't know they had one. Oh, Telemundo's having a lot in Florida.
I believe next month, right?
New Hampshire Wyndham, New Hampshire.
Okay.
Miami, not too shabby.
Yeah, and then June 9th, Vegas, like you said, Shakur Stevenson fighting in Vegas, June 9th. And like you highlighted, some of these are going to be during weekdays, not just weekends. They're gonna have,
why not? Especially if they're able to, and they're gonna max out their day or their weeks there. You may as well.
Yeah. And they need it. Like going back to the Nicaragua fights, some of the promoters there and some of the fighters there were quoted saying, people need to eat. That's one of the main reasons why they were having these cards there. Besides having the low number of cases and things like that, these guys need money in their pockets. A lot of people are suffering. So
it's been months without a paycheck, right? It's they still had to pay their trainers, their coaches, for all the work that they've been doing. So they gotta get their bag. Cynthia, what are your thoughts on? We'll move a little bit to the Eddie Hearn news. What are your thoughts on Eddie Hearn having having fights events in his mansion backyard?
So I think it is genius. Level up. Okay, when he said, "What is it? Fight? What is it? Matchroom? Whatever it's called." I thought, I'm like, you know what? People said it's not true, but I go, Eddie Hearn, whatever that is, I completely believe it. You have Fighter Island. You have Fight Island, which we are not exactly sure. I totally believe it's somewhere in the Caribbean. But when he came up, it's like, screw it. I have a backyard, my old backyard, Matchroom headquarters, 15 acres. If you can build a stadium out of nowhere for Miami for the, his last DAZN fights, I believe you can just build a whole damn stadium and whatever. His house it can be housed for the fighters and the trainers. Why not? If you have the space, you have the money, do it. That's why I said, I'm like, Oscar, Bob Arum has now MGM. So now I'm just kind of seeing what the other promoters are going to do. But I think it's fine. If that's the only way you can have fights, to keep the fighters busy, to make them money, to give the crowd something to think, something to watch besides the news, fuck it, do it. I'm all for it. I'll watch it. I'll find a way to watch it.
Yeah, and we have Dr. Oo's podcast here. He's from the UK. He says
hey,
UK boxing in the house. How are things over there? I believe he's from Liverpool.
Okay.
So how are things here? Write it down in the chat if you can, Dr. Oo's for us. And then we have Sean here.
I agree with Sean Fitzgerald that local promotions will struggle. I mean, I work for 360 Promotions for Hollywood Fight Nights, and I know that we're not going to have local fights, club shows, because they thrive on their fans, their family. That's how they get paid. That's how the shows happen. So they're not big promoters. It's their come up. So sadly, all all those shows, like for Golden Boy, the Belasco shows, Raging Babes, that she was just starting, and I was so sad about that. But it's, you know, everyone had to cut their fights, their shows. But the ones that really hurt me the most were the club shows, because, you know,
definitely,
they don't have multi-million-dollar contracts. They're just hoping
to add to that, we're not going to say any names or things like that, but we've been told from a boxer fighting at one of these, not so known promotional companies, that they need to sell a certain amount of tickets, right? That's how they get paid, right? Yeah. So now, if you have no fans at these venues, what is that paycheck going to look like now? Exactly. To begin with, you're not making that much money, but now with no fans, what's that going to look like?
The time right now and during this quarantine is when you really have to think outside of the box, because we're all so used to going to a fight. We were all really honestly spoiled. It's like you show up at this fight, this media day, you get the interviews. Now we have to go hustle every which way. We can't leave our homes. And for the people that do club shows, you got to figure out how to get your name out there, because you can't do it in the ring. We have everything at our fingertips. Sadly, I hate to say it because I hate social media, but it's a curse and a blessing, you know, and this is the way you get to be in contact with your fans. And you know what? Look at Ryan Garcia. Everyone made fun of him as the Instagram boxer, as this. Now look at, he has, I don't remember, he had like over 6 million followers. He's making money from all his things that he's promoting.
And he has a new YouTube vlogging, remember I talked about it last week. He made a vlog that had, 200,000 views already, something like that. Just him, like a 10-minute vlog where he did the little skit about Gervonta that was included in the vlog, and just little things like that.
Yeah, so it's things like that. I mean, everyone made fun of, his fans are 10 years old. Okay, those 10-year-old fans have parents. Those parents will buy things for their kids to shut up. So, and they're at home. It's like, mommy, can you buy this Ryan Garcia thing? Okay, just go away. And that's how it starts. And he has built a fan base. Is it the typical fan base that we're used to? No, but he has done something incredibly different that a lot of the fighters that are coming up need to learn, need to grasp. They need to be, forget your PR people. This is a time you get on your IG Live, you get on your Twitter, and you just have a conversation with them, because that's the only way that they're going to be able to talk.
Yeah. Dr. Ru's here getting back to us. He says everything is still shut here. Everything is still shut down.
Oh, yeah. They're on a complete they're lockdown, big time lockdown.
Yeah. And then there were talks about Anthony Joshua fighting abroad in the UAE or Croatia. Yeah, I heard about that as well. That's another option. Yeah.
Well, I read that Eddie Hearn that is really still trying to keep it in the UK and maybe do it in a smaller venue and have a select crowd. I'm not exactly sure that means, because it's such a massive fight. But Anthony Joshua said it best. He said, if I have to fight with no crowd, then so be it. Because if he doesn't fight, and the opportunity for him to fight again with possibly a crowd is next year, we don't even know if that's even for sure, because we don't know. This virus is still kind of fluid in a weird way. He won't fight for a whole year. And, he needs to fight. These people, they want to fight. And so that's what I like about boxers. They're like, screw it. I don't care about a crowd. I've fought without a crowd. I just want to fight. I want to give my fans a show. So that's pretty much it. And if we already know that we can't have, Fury's already there. So if they can't have Wilder fly out to UK, no one can even travel right now. All international borders are closed.
Till this day.
Yeah.
Courtney Harden says, man, I feel bad for Raging Babe's show being postponed.
Yeah,
she's promoting her show very heavy here in Philly.
She really did promote that well. And even her show Boxing Moms that Break Media, Jay did with that. And it was such a good build-up, a good lead up to that show. And it's just, that was her baby, and it's tough. And so now that I know she has a backup plan after a backup plan, they all do. It's just now we have to all wait. It's like really a waiting game for all of us to see when we can kind of slowly open back. and will it make sense to do certain things? Because everyone lost money, and there's really people have no jobs, and so we shall see.
Yeah, and then Sean says they won't even have the events. They can't afford to put on shows with no fans without other sources of revenue. Yeah, and then Long Live Boxing, kind of piggybacking off that, says most small shows and gyms here in Texas are now closed for good. Sad times. Crazy. Yeah.
There's just a lot of. Did you see the gym in downtown LA? They closed. It has the most beautiful mural outside. Oh my God, I can't remember. By Mad Steez. You've seen that one?
I remember seeing a gym. I'm not sure if it's that same one, but it was like a family.
The big one.
Okay.
It's the big one that there was a lot of. Leo Santa Cruz always did his media days there. A lot of PBC did their media days there. I can't remember the name. It's like now, but they had to shut down because they can't pay the rent. No one can pay their rent because there's no business happening.
Yeah, again, these are small businesses. They go from like month to month, and so 1 month, 2 months can be very, be
devastating, without a doubt. We have a question here from Dr. Ooze. What do y'all think about Ruiz training with the Canelo team? Cynthia, what do you think? I think we discussed this already, right? What do you think about it, Cynthia?
I like that. Honestly, I like that. I didn't mind. I didn't mind if Teddy Atlas would have been his trainer. It would have been weird. Sorry,
that would have been interesting.
I was like,
Teddy
that's not
Atlas?
an ad, by the way. I'm like, this is not an ad.
Slick with it.
Because I saw what he did. I know Teddy Atlas's style, but I think Ruiz and I think being with Canelo is going to really change him. Because Canelo demands, professionalism, you doing your job. He's not going to have someone lazy come into the gym. Like, look at Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia, before he joined joined Eddie Reynoso and Canelo, it's kind of like, if you want to be great, you need to work your ass off for it. You can't just be a part-time boxer and just have fun. You need to work your ass every fucking day in order to be a world champion, 2-division world champion, 3-division world champion, and to be respected. So I think it's Ruiz has never lacked this. He's a great boxer. He just needed to be
like refocus.
Yeah,
Pushed.
he needs that.
Push,
and
motivated.
I think with Canelo being on his ass and just being around being around a team that helps you out and shows you things, and you're always, what is this called?
Be accountable in a way.
Yes, you're accountable, and it's kind of like, okay. And it's been good. Andrew Ruiz has been very accountable on social media with his workouts, and I can't wait to see him back in the ring. He's got speed, he's got hands, and we've seen his talent. Now imagine when he's actually really in shape, like really fully in shape, and he's even quicker. So I'm excited to see what this team will bring.
Do you think he can be heavyweight champion once again?
Absolutely.
Oh.
I think so. It just depends on when those belts decide to come back, and if
He's still young. He's not old.
So 29, 30?
Around there.
he just needs the opportunity, because there's a lot of heavyweights out there, but he beat Joshua convincingly in the first one, and then he got beat. He lost already when he didn't work out. So he already lost the minute he decided to only work out 2 months prior to defending his belt against one of the best boxers. And is there going to be a third one? I don't know, because Fury Joshua sounds so much better to me right now.
Definitely.
That's the fight I really want to see out of all the heavyweights. Honestly, it's like
It will probably be the biggest fight in UK history.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes, that would be the best. So why not? And you know what? I don't know if this is true. I don't know. Do you guys know if that step aside for Wilder is true? I don't know.
We know that it's offered. I'm not sure if he will take it. Me and Drew we talked about this before. I think it's the best. It's like easy money. You need that time away to regroup, to refocus.
He had surgery recently as well.
Yeah. And honestly, when it first came out, I thought maybe it could be a great idea because if let's just hypothetically say no one can travel to fight, then really may as well just take the step aside money because you can't travel.
Anyways,
I don't care who you are, you're not going to be able to travel, and you may as well just have the UK fighters fight for whatever it is, and then whoever wins from that. And I know Wilder wants the rematch, but it's not really up to him anymore. It's really up to Mother Nature, pretty much.
Yeah, you know what? Talking about Tyson, you know, there's still so many topics we want to talk about. We're about 45 minutes in, but we do have a question here from Courtney Harden. Any thoughts on Mike Tyson and Fury talks? You know, Tyson Fury did come out and said that somebody gave him a call, but he doesn't think anything
of it really.
Yeah, came out of it. Right?
Wait, say that again. I don't know what happened. I maybe
so
didn't even
there's
hear about this.
rumors supposedly that Tyson Fury was contacted to ask him if he's interested in fighting or a potential fight with Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Exhibition, I
match.
think. Yeah,
maybe 3
The
rounds.
and what did Fury say?
Fury said, "Hell yeah, he would take it,"
Yeah.
but he said that he didn't think anything would come to fruition from that phone call. He just never heard back, I suppose. So,
Okay, let's imagine this. Mike Tyson. 53 years old. You hear that, Mike? That's Mike, by the way. Did you hear that? Do you think Fury could take Mike Tyson punch? I don't think so.
Wait, Tyson
Fury's
Fury?
fast.
Tyson Fury,
Mike
do you
Tyson's
think he can
fast.
take
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson's punch?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can
Can't
take a
take.
clean punch from Mike Tyson.
I don't think so.
Can he catch him though? Does he have the legs?
Yes, that's the
the
question.
speed,
The speed,
the stamina.
stamina. I mean,
Who? Tyson?
Tyson,
Mike.
Fury. Oh, Mike.
Wait,
Okay.
which one?
Fury and Mike. Let's just keep it. Yeah, Fury.
Fury and Mike.
And Mike.
Who have the stamina? Are you asking?
Mike.
Does Mike? You know what? I don't know.
Will he have the
On
stamina?
Courtney's podcast, he asked me, and I said maybe. I say give him 6 rounds, but if he fought against Evander, but Tyson Fury is quick. Like he's so quick on his feet. That's the thing. I don't know if Tyson would be able to catch him. Mike would be able to catch him.
Fury's
but
about
I
a
don't-
foot taller than he is.
He's taller, but imagine if he cracked on Fury.
Sean says he has to catch him first.
He has
Yeah.
to catch him. Yeah, he has
Man,
to catch
he has
him.
to hit him first.
Yeah, because Fury is very slippery. Maybe the most like the slickest heavyweight. You know, up there with Muhammad Ali. He's just very slick, very, very quick. Yeah, Mike Tyson's not. You know, he's 53. Prime Mike Tyson catches him. This Mike,
Prime, yeah.
This Mike, I don't
He's,
know.
he has still power, but he's
Yeah.
just older and slower. But I don't know if I'd really want to see an exhibition because I don't think that's very fair because he's 53 versus
20, 30,
Fury is
30. Yeah,
30,
29,
Yeah,
30.
31.
Yeah.
so no.
What do you
mean-
think about Mike Tyson's comeback period? Because we know you're a big fan of the GOAT,
I
Mike
love
Tyson.
it.
You have that picture behind you.
I know. I love his comeback. Do I really want to see him back in the ring for to be sanctioned? No. I think it's a little batshit crazy when like Evander's like they all starting to post all their comeback pictures.
I
You know
heard
what? I don't
Roy
mind
now
if they're-
put his
Yeah,
name in
Roy
the picture.
Jones
Roy Jones Jr.
Threw his name in
Yeah.
there. Roy's 51.
I know everyone's throwing in their name. But you know what? I guess they have all the time in the world. Watch,
Yeah.
Sugar Ray Leonard's gonna come back and say, "I want to come back." Roberto Duran, like,
Roberto
you know what?
No mas,
I would love
no
to see
mas.
all of that for exhibition for
Yeah.
charity. But I think it was great for Mike Tyson's mental health to get back in the gym
And for
'cause he
his
felt
brand.
like he
Oh
lost.
my goodness.
Dude, he's ripped. Like 53 years old. And just even the footage of him hitting. It's scary. It's scary. Would you want to be hit by Mike Tyson
No way.
for $1 million?
No way.
Potentially not come back.
You won't enjoy
We
that.
won't
Not
enjoy
get
that
in
money.
the ring and maybe die or have a concussion. I don't know. Not me.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to get hit by Mike even when he's 80. Like, no.
Yeah, but I think it's great marketing, like we were talking
Yeah.
about. How many people are going to tune into his podcast every week to see if he
Maybe
gives us new information about this
I
potential
know.
comeback?
Yeah.
I know. He's incredible. I mean, he's an incredible person. So the life he's lived, it's just for him to come back, even to get in shape. When you look at his before pictures and after, it's like, okay, no one has any excuse not to lose any weight and get back in the gym and get in shape. If he can do it, why not?
And then you touched on the mental aspect, because a lot of times on his podcast, he mentioned that he just didn't want to fight anymore. He didn't want to train, you know, because it would stroke his ego and it would remind him of the old Mike Tyson, right? The one who went through the dark times.
That guy. He didn't like that guy. And so, but I think it's when it comes to boxers, when is one boxer ever really done? You know, that's been their whole job, their whole career, all their lives. That's all they know. Yeah. And fortunately, some boxers, very fortunate boxers, have made their wealth in other things, you know, doing other stuff. And so luckily for him, he's been an actor. He has his podcast. He has a lot of products
Tyson
that
Ranch.
I bought one of his shirts, you know, that I should have worn it.
The Toad one?
Like, wash your hands shirt. Okay. It's on his website. It's like, it says, Mike Tyson says, wash your hands. It's his face. It says, Mike Tyson says, wash your hands. And in the back, it shows 6 steps of how to properly wash your hands. And the money goes to, I think it's charity or one of those, but it's probably one of the softest cotton tees I have, just to let y'all know.
Good endorsement there for Mike Tyson. Yeah, Courtney says that comeback money is real. Yeah. Sean says, Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. PPV, I'm buying. Yeah. Honestly, Mike Tyson versus anybody for charity is a guaranteed buy for me. Am I the only one who doesn't want to see Tyson fight again?
You don't want to see him?
Not really.
No, there's a couple people. There's a couple people that don't want to. I just don't want to see him fight in that's sanctioned. I don't want him for him to really, really compete. But I think it's for charity, and he only does a couple rounds with headgear.
Yeah, I was gonna say that with headgear.
I was like with headgear because, you know, I don't want to see anything bad happen to anyone in the ring when it's for charity. Yeah.
No, I'm not concerned about Mike. I'm concerned about his opponent.
That's true too.
That's true.
That's true.
No, I'm kidding. No, I like what Mike is doing. I don't think he needs to.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's for a good cause, like they're seeing here in the chat, and you know.
Yeah, the thing is the way Mike ended his career, you know, he ended it on a losing note.
That's true too.
And that's something that maybe he wants to, you know, correct. I mean, he's already corrected a lot of things in his life. He's at a place of peace, and maybe he likes the way he is now, and he knows he could do something different in the ring. Of course, I agree with Cynthia. We wouldn't want to see him do like fighting high level fighters. That's very dangerous. We don't want to see Mike hurt, but you know, like Cynthia said, with headgear, you know, 3 rounds with somebody around his age, someone where they both won't get seriously hurt. We saw with Julio Cesar Chavez, he fought Travieso Arce. That was a good fight, and you saw that the glimpses of their brilliance is still there. Obviously, they're not gonna really seriously hurt each other. They have headgear, you know. It's not like before. So do I want to see Mike come back with the proper, you know, precaution, and as much as you can take in boxing? You know, it's kind of hard for somebody to turn down $20 million, which is a very real offer that he's been offered. And then again, they're also throwing, you know, money to charities of his choice. And so why not give back? So if everything's done, you know, as the best way possible, I like to see Mike come back. And,
God, imagine 20 million just on the table.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Ooh.
Man, if I had balls to do that, I'd be like, I'll take $1 million, $2 million punch.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'd get in the ring. I would get in the ring with anybody but Mike Tyson for $1 million.
I mean, Evander Holyfield, it's funny that, you know, maybe they were talking about the trilogy and after the bite fight. So
Bite
fight.
And I recommend anybody to watch the podcast with Evander on Mike Tyson's podcast.
Oh,
they
my God.
talked about it and they joked about it and laughed about it, and it was pretty cool.
Since we're talking about Evander here, do you want to tell Cynthia Alfonso's story?
About
sorry?
the cake?
About the ear.
Oh,
what about
goodness.
You know, Evander came out on Twitter and he said, for all of you guys think that Mike Tyson, or I don't have an ear, I do have an ear. Like, he didn't bite the whole thing off. He just chomped on it twice.
So Alfonso told us that, and you guys can check out the last episode. Toward the end, he said this story, but long story short, he said that they were at the contender finale or something like that at an event. And he saw Evander there in the room, and he just stared at it at the bitten ear.
What does it look like? What did he say?
He said it was like just like half.
Look kind of the
I
same,
mean, it looks the
right?
same,
Just
but
a little missing piece, maybe.
Yeah.
And he said he was just staring at it, and he was debating whether to go up there and touch it or not.
What?
Yeah, that's what we said. We're like,
No, I would. You know what? If Alfonso did that, I would not be surprised if Evander knocked him the fuck out. Don't touch my ear.
Yeah.
Well, he actually touched it.
He did?
He actually went up there and touched
He
it.
allowed him to touch his ear?
I think he snuck up
He
on him,
snuck
right?
up on him and he just
Yeah.
kind of just tapped it a little
He just
bit.
tapped
That's
it.
not cool, Alfonso. That's like not cool. You don't be touching nobody's ear.
And he turned
Especially-
around and was shocked. He's like, nobody has ever touched my ear. And he said, oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what's just bothering
That's
me. I had
personal
to.
space. That's
Yeah.
personal space, Alfonso.
Yeah, of course. Like we were like, no, that's no. But yeah, Alfonso's like, you know,
That
when you have a
OCD
chance.
kicking in or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think so. But yeah,
Was he mad? Did he get mad at him or just
I
kind
think
of more shocked?
I think he was just more shocked, more surprised. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Dude, you got balls. That's not cool.
Yeah.
I bet you Evander, the next time he sees me, he's like, you touch my fucking ear.
Boom.
You can't touch my ear.
Well, he can't swing
Wow.
either, right? It's the hands are weapons, so
Yes,
Yeah.
they are. Yeah, that's true.
You know what? I think there's a good segment into the rapid fire questions.
ooh, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw a series of questions at you. There's about 10 to 15 here. I don't know how to count. But
Damn. Okay. In ballpark.
rapid fire, all right. There's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
And, just say the first answer that comes to mind. You ready?
All right, let's go.
All right, here we go. Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Pool or beach?
What'd you say?
Pool or beach?
Beach.
Pancakes or waffles?
If they're low carb, either.
All right. Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury?
Oh, that's hard. Can I plead the fifth on that one?
Is that
don't-
allowed?
Well, since she interviewed it, we'll give her that pass.
All right.
We'll
Yeah,
come back to
that's
that
hard.
one.
That's true. That's
That's
a
a
tough
tough
one. All right. We can get back to that one later. All right. This one might be tough too. Paris or Rome?
Rome.
Okay.
Okay.
Whiskey or tequila?
Vodka.
Oh, Russian. Okay.
No, yeah, vodka.
Ali or Tyson?
Mike Tyson?
Yep.
My goat. Mike Tyson all day, every day.
Oh, okay.
Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like them both, but Game of Thrones,
You are the first person to answer that one incorrectly.
I like. Okay, did you like the one after the El Dorado or El
El
Diablo? whatever it's
Camino?
called?
The
El Cam-
movie?
Yeah, it was
That
boring.
was boring. It was so slow.
It was so
slow.
boring. But
Couldn't do it.
yeah,
Let's
no, I
move
like
on.
Breaking Bad. It's just I like Game of Thrones because except the last season.
Yeah.
Every season except the last season that can be taken away.
Yeah.
I only watched the last one, so I wouldn't know.
See, you saw the
Is
wrong
that the reason
ones.
why you don't like Game of Thrones?
Yes, I thought
You
it
have to
was-
watch all
You gotta watch
the
the
other
first,
ones
yeah.
first. The
Especially
last
season
season was
4.
the worst one,
I'll think
sadly.
about it. All right, let's move on to the next one. Who do you think would win in a dance-off, Lomachenko or Usyk?
Usyk.
That foot movement though.
It's the foot movement. Yeah, they both, but Usyk.
Usyk has more moves, huh? That's true.
All right, next one. Does pineapple belong on pizza? Yes or no?
I like it with it, but I don't like it with ham.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
All right.
So I would rather have it with
That works.
pepperoni than ham. So that's my answer for that.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Would you, if you were a boxer, would you rather fight Layla Ali or Clarissa Shields?
Layla Ali.
Oh, okay.
Why? Because I could say I fought Muhammad Ali's daughter.
Okay. Cool.
Like I fought an Ali.
All right.
Who is the real GOAT?
Next question.
That was not on the
I'm
list,
not gonna even
Chris.
answer that because no, I'm not gonna answer it.
I think I know the answer based on that.
I thought, yeah.
I'm gonna
Let's move
answer
on. Let's
it
move
because
on.
there's a lot of nope.
I said, nope.
All right.
Nope.
If you only had to keep 3 apps on your phone, which ones would they be?
3 apps.
3 apps.
Waze.
Need to get around. Okay. Yeah.
Let me see. My 3 apps. Oh, Headspace.
Headspace.
Okay.
That's
Which one's that?
my meditation.
Oh.
And
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard about that.
Safari, like for Google.
Yeah, yeah. Browser. Those
Browser.
are good. Yeah, those are good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't want my phone because I don't want to talk to anyone.
I was gonna say phone is an
Spotify,
app.
YouTube.
Nope.
No texting, no.
app.
No, yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yep. If someone wanted to get a hold of me, I could easily just go to my browser and go to my email, like say iCloud or Google, Gmail, and then find if they really want to talk to me.
There
Or you send a
go.
crow with the letter, go back to
A letter.
Yeah.
All right.
get it 3 weeks later.
I know, right? My bad. I didn't see it. It was in junk mail.
Left it on red.
All right. Next one. I have a feeling I know what the answer is, but if you had a choice between making an appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast or the Mike Tyson podcast, which one would you choose?
Mike Tyson. I would love to do Joe Rogan though.
Biggest
Can I just have
platform
them
in the world.
both there? Like, can I just be a guest
On both.
on both the same
Nice.
day?
Got to
That'd be
you should take Bob to Mike. Has Mike had Bob on?
Uh-uh.
They would have a great time.
Oh.
Man.
Oh my God! Imagine both of them high as a kite. One doesn't. Well, but Bob doesn't smoke. He eats edibles and Mike
it's-
smokes. So I don't know
okay.
how he would do with contact high.
Oh.
But imagine that. That's like
Yeah.
breaking bread with those two.
Yes.
They'd be
Yes.
so high as a kite. Oh,
Yeah.
that would be fucking amazing.
That'd be great.
Well, you know what? Bob Arum did tell me in my podcast. I don't know if you remember. He said, I remember doing some of his fights and people, he was so barbaric and scary that he was like, do I regret not signing him? He said, no.
Mm.
Yeah. So that I found that interesting, but I would love to hear them talk. Honestly, that would be quite fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would get high just cause, and I don't, just to hear it in the way that they're hearing it themselves.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You got to put that together, Cynthia.
All right,
Get them in the same room.
All right, 2 more. Where we at? Oh, if you had to give up one for a month, would you give up boxing or the internet for a month? We kind of did one already.
That was a good one.
We already did boxing.
Yeah.
So as in just any kind of boxing, even old fights that you can research on.
Everything,
Everything.
including boxing. Everything.
Everything.
Videos,
Or the internet?
fights.
I'd give up the internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
And last one, Cynthia, last one. Who are 3 boxers that you would name to anybody who's not a boxing fan, who's never watched boxing, doesn't care about boxing? Who are 3 boxers, let's say history to make it easier, 3 boxers in history who you would tell them, you got to check these guys out?
Roberto Duran,
That's a good one.
Mike Tyson. I'm gonna say 4. Well, I'm gonna go old school fighters because it's too vast. So Sugar Ray, who did I say? Sugar Ray Robinson, Duran,
And Tyson.
Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
3.
3.
I don't hear.
Yeah, 3.
Who did I say? Robinson.
Sugar Ray
Duran.
Robinson, Roberto Duran, and Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Okay.
Old
Boxing
school.
royalty right there.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
They're saying vodka, great choice.
Vodka.
Headspace, good choice, Sean. And then Courtney Harden here, history of Bob Arum and Mike Tyson. Yeah, that would be insane. Imagine those stories, Bob Arum and Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
That would be a 5-hour show,
Yeah.
honestly.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Just imagine just keep it live streaming the entire time.
No breaks. Just let
No
'em go.
breaks. Just
Whatever
let
they
it
wanna talk
run.
about.
Let their mics just be hot the entire time.
Man.
Crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, and let's just go back a little bit to the schedule here, because that is coming up in June already. which is
Yeah.
crazy. We mentioned the fights here on Saturday in the Dominican Republic. That's on ESPN Deportes. June 6th, there's fights in Mexico. Carlos Molina is fighting there. June 9th, Vegas. Shakur Stevenson is fighting.
Who was Shakur supposed to fight? I mean, I don't remember because it was so. Wasn't he supposed to fight and then it got canceled?
Yeah,
I can't remember
I don't
who.
remember. Yeah, I remember it was on the schedule, but I don't. Yeah, I don't remember the name exactly.
It was. I think on Conlon's card, I believe in New York,
St.
and then
Patrick's
it was
Day.
that week it got canceled. They were already there. They did the weigh-ins or they did everything.
Yeah, because that was one of the fights that we thought that was still gonna go through.
Maybe the last.
But then the last 2 weeks they were just like, no, just pull it.
No, they canceled it. They were there at Fight Week.
Yeah.
Their presser, and then Bob Arum said we had to make the difficult choice of canceling it because we didn't have enough tests and to keep the medics around, sitting around, and then God forbid something happened that they would have to go to the hospital and we would take a hospital bed when people really needed it. So they had to make that difficult decision of canceling it.
Yeah.
But it's, you know what, I guess who he's fighting, Felix Caraballo.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's the only person that they can find at this time. I know that a lot of people got shit because media is not allowed, the dates, the matchups, but honestly, we're in a freaking quarantine. I mean, you're not going to be able to get the fighters that you really want that are from a different country. I mean, just to even get these fights that Nevada, the commission was able to pass, that's a blessing.
Yeah,
That's a blessing for us. And so I'm just happy to have fights. I'm happy that these fighters can fight and make some money. And I'm happy boxing is back. So we'll just take whatever we get. And these fighters will want to fight. At this point, they don't care who they fight. They just want to fight.
Yeah, and they're going to fight in Austin because that's June 9th. 2
Yeah,
days later,
June
June 11th, once again in Vegas, Jesse Magdaleno against Vicente's fighting.
I haven't seen him in a while. I haven't seen him fight in a long time.
Last he fought, was that the fight at the LAFC stadium?
I believe so, yeah.
I think so.
Did he fight after
I
that?
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's fighting Yenifel Vicente,
Yeah,
10 rounds, junior lightweight.
Mayer is on that undercard versus to be announced still. So
Oh, Mariaga, was that who Shakur was supposed to fight?
I believe so.
Yeah,
sounds familiar.
'Cause I remember it was a known name at least.
yeah, it
It'll be
was.
a good
Yeah.
test for him. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
June 12th.
I'm actually excited. Michaela Mayer is on this card, and
Yeah,
I
Michaela
really
Mayer.
like her. She had some beef with Terry Harper, the WBC champ. I don't know. Are you familiar with Terry Harper?
A little bit, not too much.
I really like her. I remember I said in my interview, I go with Eddie Hearn, I go, she reminds me, like you would never believe she's a fighter. She's just like very innocent looking, almost like a school teacher. I said it, and then she tweets back, she's like a school teacher. I'm like, I'm sorry. I go, I didn't know, but I said it, she's going to be a problem in the division. She's tough, but her and Michaela were saying, going back and forth, like, how do you not know that I'm accomplished? You won a title, an X amount of fights, and just they're going back and forth. And Terry kind of shut it down, was like, well, get yourself a world championship belt and then come talk to me. I was like, oh. I was like, oh, I love it when girls talk shit. Like, you know what? It's good. But no, I really would like to see Michaela. I know that, they give the right opponents at the right time, but now it's kind of like, okay, now we got to step it up. And I don't know who she's fighting this one, but I really like Michaela. Yeah. So it's, I can't wait to see with this division.
Yeah. Cynthia, what do you think about these Twitter beefs that are going on? With Abner Mares, with Ryan, with Linares.
Honestly, sometimes I think that's the only fights that we're going to get. It's more like just start something, and maybe it's genuine. And I don't mind reading it. I'm just like, ooh, shots fired. Ooh. And it's quite fun. But, at this time, it's kind of like, that's all you're going to see. We're not going to be able to see you guys in the ring anytime soon. So, even with Gervonta and Ryan, well, that's been going on for a long time. But even Jorge Linares, I think that was the funniest one with Ryan Garcia. Oh my God.
The
But
recent
it's,
one
you
on
know, it's really,
Instagram?
it's
or-
good for the sport. It's good for the sport and we need it. And it gets them talking more on their social media. That's what I like about it.
Yeah. Because I mean, there was talk that fight was gonna happen, but there wasn't a whole lot of animosity. And like it seems like now it's starting to build up here and there.
Yeah.
And Gio touched on that. Like, man, you're in quarantine. Might as well like start some beef, right? To get your, to get something going.
Yeah,
And
because
so,
once the internet once you're able to travel, those fights will be made hopefully, and I don't mind seeing Jorge Linares. I mean, is he three division world champion, but he's not just some Joe Schmo off the street. Like he's a veteran. He's a decorated fighter, and to go up against Ryan Garcia, a hungry, young, talented fighter, I would really like to see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, he was able to hang in there with Lomachenko. Lomachenko dropped him, but he was still able to, hang with Lomachenko. That's not easy. So I would like to see it. Let's see where Jorge Linares is at in his career. Does he still have it? And he looked excellent in his last fight over at the Honda Center. So I can't be mad at that.
Yeah. If you had to put money on one of them right now, who would you put money on?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That one I don't know, because Ryan is he can land his punch, but Jorge is also slick. Like he's tricky, but I don't know. I'm not going to answer that one. I'm not going to answer that one.
Yeah. Well, that's a fight that's, I mean, people were asking for it, and hopefully that gets made. Maybe not right away. We chimed in a little bit that anybody that Ryan fights, people are going to tune in. Like right now, it's the best time for him to just to get his just to get warmed up and stuff.
And they're saying July 4th, right,
July
for
4th,
Ryan.
Yeah,
that would be
I
interesting.
don't. I know that it was said, but I don't know if it's a go. I'm not sure, because there's just a lot of red tape, obviously, because of where the fighters are going to fight. How are they going to house them? They have to be quarantined, obviously. It just everyone involved. There's really no going in and out. So once you get tested, and the testing is not cheap, it's very expensive. So that's why there's no media, obviously, because those tests have to be reserved for the people that really matter. So I don't know. I haven't really heard much. I heard that in theory, July 4th was going to be a go, but I haven't heard much about it.
I feel like UFC handled it well, right? They did have one fighter and two of his cornermen who tested positive and was pulled out of that.
But that's, think about that. They tested, didn't he test negative the first time and then he tested positive the second time?
Something like that.
So think about that, because they're being tested daily. If he was asymptomatic that day when he got tested and then he became positive, how many people are you around? And we saw those videos of him like saying hello, and to know that his cornermen, and it's like, I know that you pull him out. I get that, but you're already in a bubble already. So how many people could you have possibly infected that are asymptomatic? So it might not show up now. It might not show up the next week. It could show up 14 days, because that's how long it normally takes. But I don't know. I don't. As of right now, UFC pulled it off, but they did it in Florida. California's not open. Maybe if they're, unless they pitched it to Vegas, just like how Bob Arum did it, maybe it would work. I don't know.
Cynthia, quick question. Who is the fighter that you're most looking forward to see come back? Who's the guy like I want to see? That's the guy. If I had to see him one last time, who's the guy that you would want to see come back into the ring? You're most excited
one
for?
last time, or just in general to come back?
In general, the one that you're most excited to see back in the ring.
It's not one person. It's Lomachenko versus Lopez.
Okay.
That is a fight I would really like to see.
And who?
No, she's not gonna.
She's not gonna answer. We're gonna ask for your
Who's gonna win?
pick. Yeah.
I said Loma. I mean, Lopez has he has a really good chance, but I think at the end of the day, Loma will take him into deep waters and his timing is so impeccable. He'll be able to figure out Lopez eventually, and just his angles, his matrix moves, all that kind of stuff, it will happen. But I said this in another podcast that if, let's just say Lopez does not win, let's just say, and he has a very good chance of winning, it's not like he lost to a bad person. Like he would have lost to Lomachenko, or if Lomachenko lost, it's like, okay, he lost to a really good, talented fighter who he did exactly what Loma said. Fight me, get a belt, and then come fight me. He got a belt, and he won the belt in a fashion that it was outstanding. He gave a really good show. And so now it's kind of like you put your money where your mouth is, let's fight. So I'm going to say Loma points.
Okay. We got it to answer.
Yes.
Reverse psychology. Woo! It worked.
No, I was going to answer that one.
Okay.
The other one, Linares Ryan, no, I don't, because I don't know that one. That one I don't know.
Okay.
And do you want to go back to the Joshua Fury one or no?
No.
Too difficult? You know what?
She's like, I gotta see these guys one day.
Is this a good time to call our boy Anthony Sims?
Yeah, let's give him a call and see if he answers. He should be.
I can call him if you like.
Yeah, that's right.
And you know what? That was the first time I saw you, Cynthia, at Venice Beach when they had that workout for the Gallo Estrada against Orton Visay, the rematch, right?
Yeah.
Anthony Sims Jr. was on the undercard. Jesse Vargas was on the undercard. Diego Pacheco was on the undercard. And you interviewed Sims, right?
I did.
And
it's my first time interviewing him.
First
Incredible.
time? Yeah. Did he kind of catch you off guard?
He did. When I read about him and then I did a quick research because that card was really stacked.
Yeah.
But then when he came out to the music, I'm like, oh, what is this music? I'm like, okay. And then learning that he fights for mental illness, mental health, that's, a lot of people don't do that. That's really one of his big goals. And his platform is really talk about that. And that really, for me, especially because the type of podcast I do, and I didn't even have that type of podcast at the time, but it was kind of like, wow, I like this guy that, it's more than just a paycheck or just a fight to him. It's much more. So
you should definitely get him on your podcast. He's been with us.
I will, I have a running list and, for people, when people ask, well, why don't you just get so-and-so, I go, there has to be a story about them. And I really I dive into their background. I mean, I do research like it's nobody's business. I think that's why I have arthritis and carpal tunnel from writing so much. But I have him on my radar, on my list. And so I'll eventually get there. Maybe he could be one of my next guests. We'll find out.
I think the first time we had him was the first time I think that we were all in tears, right?
Yeah.
In the studio. And he was telling us a lot of crazy stories of his upbringing and just a lot of things. And it was crazy. If you guys want to check it out, it's still up on our YouTube channel. I believe that was like episode 11.
Yeah, that's one of our very first episodes. We didn't expect Tina to be in tears. If you asked us before the show if we were going to be crying at the end, we'd say no. But again, it's that podcast platform where, little by little, you just dig deeper. And he felt comfortable, and I'm sure he opened up his story so it can get out there and so other people can learn from his story, can relate, if they're going through something similar, for them to see that there is light at the end of that tunnel. And so, yeah.
God. It's, okay, so I'm going to try to get on my podcast. So if you guys were crying, I will be sobbing.
Yeah. No, so, it was one of those memorable episodes. So, we're going to see if we could get him on. He's probably having trouble.
Yeah, try calling him from your phone. Yeah, there's Anthony Sims Jr. who lost actually his last fight. Right, he lost he was fighting for one of the titles. What was it? Like a Latin American title, Chris?
Yeah, I think
that was in Miami that weekend.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember what happened because that card it turned out to be a really good card.
Yeah, Daniel Roman was on it, right?
Who?
Roman, that was that.
That was the fight of the night. The fight of the night.
Yeah. And Jojo Diaz beat Tevin Farmer.
Yeah,
same card, that Super Bowl weekend in Miami.
He lost to Alexis Angulo. Yeah. That was his first loss. 20 wins, 18 knockouts. I trying to remember that fight, but I think he wasn't doing enough, and maybe I don't want to say he was showboating. I can't remember, but it wasn't enough to win though. I remember that. I just
Yeah, that was one of those fights where it was very close, and it seemed like for us that he was winning, but his corner was telling him otherwise. But
oh yeah. No, his corner was telling him he's clearly winning. And I said, no, he's not doing enough, but I can't remember. See, my phone keeps going off and I turned it off on my computer. I don't know. Apple, you guys have to figure this out. So sorry if my thing keeps chiming in. I don't know what to do.
No luck, Chris?
no luck.
Dang. He told us to call him before the show, so I don't know.
Text him.
Yeah.
Text him. We're trying to call you.
All right.
He might be roller skating right now. Oh,
Yeah.
his roller skating is so dope.
That footwork.
I just watch it. I'm like, I wish I could do that. You know, his little routines. I'm gonna see. Okay, I'm gonna try to leave this. Yeah, I'm off.
Yeah, you guys can follow Anthony Sims Jr. Whoa. At The Magician on Instagram. You guys could check out all his videos and his pictures. His stories are pretty funny. But yeah, check him out.
Yeah, but he's been out there with his family. He's been hanging out with mom. So I'm good. I'm sure, I'm sure the silver lining to this is you get to spend time with their loved ones, which of course they still have to get the bag. They still have to get back to to their careers. But I mean, at least for now, I guess the silver lining is that they got to spend some time with their family, their loved ones. I see his story all the time. He's out there with his mom, with his sister, very family oriented young man. And so yeah, we'll try to reach him, and hopefully if we can't get him on today, we'll get him on for next episode.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been a bummer. I would have. But no, I will reach out to him because I'm glad that you guys mentioned that. But I remember hearing his story just a little and I'm thinking, oh my God, it was really touching and very intense. And we're sitting at Venice Beach. I'm like, oh my God, I go, how old are you? It's just, I would never expect him to say those kind of things, and he's very well spoken.
Yeah.
And he has a good soul. You could see it. You could see it in his eyes. And when he speaks, he's very passionate about it. And he really, truly means why he's fighting for his cause.
Yeah, and he told us a story about when he was younger and a lot of tragedy was going on in his family. He actually lost the ability to read and speak.
Yep.
So it's crazy now that he's a great, public speaker. Chris invited him to Dominguez Hills to give a speech to the students there, and they all loved him.
Yeah.
They
That's
didn't know who he
amazing.
was before, but after they all became fans. It was pretty cool.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got that it factor. So not everybody has it. You develop it with life experiences, but he's got that it factor. Want to see how he bounces back from this loss. We've told I think we keep it very real. We kept it very real. We're like, man, that was a tough fight, man. Like, we're not the type to sugarcoat or anything. We're like, that was a tough fight. It could have gone that way. Could have gone this way. So, but you'll bounce back. Still got you. Something in this fight game is people. And he knows this first as a young man. He knows that when he's winning, people are going to be there close to him. When he takes his first loss, a lot of people are going to, just, jump ship or whatever. But, yeah, he has a good mindset. I don't think he's too deterred from this loss. He knows it's just a minor setback, and we'll see what happens next. Definitely can't wait to see him in the ring. We always get nervous when we see him. I personally always get nervous.
Yep.
We get nervous.
Especially when you have when you're friends with them, it's more than just an interview.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's like your family that you're like, oh my God. Imagine being the husband of a boxer or a wife of a boxer or a mother or a father watching your kid, it's terrifying. It's terrifying to me. But then when I don't know them, I'm like, beat their fucking ass.
Is there anybody in particular, any boxers out there that you get nervous for, Cynthia? Maybe you gotten close through interviewing them or, just being with them during fight week?
Yeah, of course, Manny. Especially after that scary knockout, especially, coming back at an older age. He's still great, but it's still kind of like you've seen it happen, and I don't want to see that repeat, especially if you're working it and you're like, oh my God. Who else would be like him and Roman Gonzalez,
Okay.
Chocolatito. It's because his uncle was my trainer in New York.
Oh,
So
wow.
Okay.
and I just like,
That's right.
I can't speak Spanish. He can't speak English. But we have conversations. And I interviewed his dad in Texas.
Okay.
And I'm so happy I got it. And I don't know if the guy was really translating it fully, but it was so good to hear that he was like, what's going to be next for him. And, he's so happy that he won, and now it's the game plan and just, defend his title and blah, blah. I was like, I'm so happy I got this, because I don't want to ruin, Roman's moment. And I didn't know if the dad was going to talk to me, because his brother is my trainer. And so I'm kind of like, please. But like I said, I don't know if it was completely translated. No one really said anything in the comments, but he's one that I was just like holding my breath. I'm like, please, please. And I'm on press row. You're not supposed to cheer for anyone. So I'm kind of like, I was nervous to watch. But, after his nasty knockout too. So I think it's the ones that had the really, really bad knockouts that you're afraid that, God forbid, anything happens.
Yeah.
I was a little bit surprised to see him at the Nicaragua show, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
He was just there, and you saw the images.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the images of him getting the hand sanitizer, wiping down his feet, and going through the whole process of getting inside the arena, and then doing the interview with the mask on, and him touching it 87 times, right? Yeah.
Well, I think, you know what? I think it is great because he's a world champion. He's the king. As Doug Fisher would always say, the king is back, and he is a champion. He's a national hero. So for him to come out and show, boxing, it needs to come back, but in a healthy and a safe way. And if they were able to do it and socially distance, like their seats, the way that they sat them, it was very interesting. It was different, but it was good to see when we were all stuck at home, when nothing was happening for us. We're like, okay, at least some country is trying to figure it out. And I think it was great for the sport. And he enjoyed it, and it was good to see him back.
Yeah. Well,
He was hidden for so long.
Yeah. Cynthia and I were present at one of his last little pressers in Anaheim. Cynthia, going in there, did you? I'll tell you my impression. I did not think he was going to win that last fight. A lot of people kind of,
This last fight?
Yeah, the last one where he won the title.
He was the underdog.
He was the
right?
underdog.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know.
Was he really? I thought he was not the underdog.
I think he was a slight underdog.
Slight.
Kind of like 55, 45.
I knew he was going to win.
Oh, okay.
She knew it.
She knew it.
Meaning, so obviously I want him to win.
Yeah.
But then when I'm watching the fight, what's his name again that he fought?
Yeah, it's a complicated
the
name.
guy from the UK.
Yesai,
Yeah, something with a Y, right?
Mm-hmm. Yesai Fai, something like that. Yeah, complicated name.
Oh, what's his name? Say it again.
I think Yesai.
Oh, Calyafai. There you go.
There you go, there.
So when I saw Calyafai fighting, the way he was fighting, I'm like, wow, Chocolatito looks like he has not missed a beat. He looks
That
stronger.
inside game.
He looked
Oh my
like
God.
his prime again. And Calyafai was fighting Chocolatito's fight. He couldn't adjust, and I'm thinking, oh, he's gonna lose. And he knew it, and he knew every round that he did not adjust to fight his way. I'm like, he's gonna lose his title. But now he's moving up in weight. So
Yeah.
but
Yeah, he looked,
that was interesting seeing him during the presser. When I saw him, when I worked fight week, I interviewed Calyafai, and even when he said, I go, how do you feel that you're actually, first of all, you're fighting a former world champion, but you're not just fighting it's not just a world champion, it's Chocolatito. He's one of the best. And he's one of my idols. He's one I looked up to, but he's like, I feel bad that I'm going to be hitting him and possibly knocking him out. Mm-hmm. Obviously we knew what happened, but that's a lot of pressure for Yafai, and a lot of pressure for Roman, because he needed to prove that he belonged. He needed to win another world title so he can get his shot with Sorungbasai.
Yeah.
Did you see that one the one video with Sri Suket, Sorungbasai, and Chocolatito? He's like, I challenge you to a dance-off. Did you see that?
Wow.
I didn't see that one. I saw when he called them out for the fight.
It's so hilarious.
That's funny.
He starts dancing. Sorungbasai starts dancing to like this Thai house beat, techno beat. It's so cute though, and so challenged. You have to watch it. It's really funny. It's good, and I like that because he's like, I can't wait to see you back in the ring. And you know, they're very cordial, especially, you know, he apologized for knocking him out in the interview. He apologized. He's like, I'm happy that you're in good health. I want you to be back in the ring. I want to fight you again. Obviously, there's El Gallo, you know, so
Yeah,
I want to see them all fight because it's one of my favorite weight classes.
definitely. Courtney Harden says, this is a dope interview. Cynthia's always great.
Thanks,
thank you guys.
Courtney.
Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Yeah, and then Cuadras I saw on Instagram too. He's trying to put his name in that mix of the
That little mix?
Chocolatito and Gallo and
Well,
Southern
he's
Visa.
the only one besides El Gallo to beat Sri Suket, Sorungbasai.
Yeah.
So before El Gallo beat him, it was kind of like, well, he fought him and lost, but he fought him and lost. So it was kind of like that. They all fought each
Yeah.
other. And it's not like they were throwing only 500 punches. They were throwing like over 1,000 punches.
Yeah.
But it's good that Carlos is coming back, and I want to see what he has left in the tank. I think he fought. Didn't he fight in, I believe, Mexico?
I believe so. Yeah.
I don't
yeah,
rem-
a little comeback fight.
Yeah, it was a little comeback fight, but it's such a talented division. It's one of my Superflies are one of my favorites. So I want to see Cuadras come back and see how he does, and then hopefully he can challenge for another world title. But that's a very talented division. Guy wants to keep his belt. Chocolatito wants his belt, keep his belt. So Sorungbasai wants his belt back. And I'm curious to see how he would fight in the rematch with fighting Southpaw, fighting the way he normally fights.
Yeah.
Not orthodox.
That was a little
I
weird.
remember
to me.
he told me, he goes, I have something up my sleeve. I have a surprise for him. And when I saw him fighting orthodox, I'm like, don't tell me that's a surprise. Don't tell me, because it's not it's not
didn't
working.
work. It
Not
did
working.
Not work at all.
But you know, you live and learn, and they fight another day, and that's all that matters.
That's the thing with Chocolatito's win, that kind of opens up another big payday for Sword, because once Sword lost that title, I mean, yeah, he could run it back with Gallo, but that kind of just makes the perfect trifecta where they could fight each other, make some good money.
All
Yeah.
day. I mean, and I'm not taking anything away from El Gallo. I mean, he fought a brilliant fight. I mean, he was masterful. He was skillful. He did everything right and then some. And it was just, it was beautiful. So if El Gallo fights the same exact way and Sorungbasai fights the way he normally does, we're in for one hell of a battle, like one hell of a fight. So it would be very, very fun and interesting. And then if Chocolatito can, you know, get in that mix and, you know, 2 titles in there, it's endless. It's endless. And that's, you know, it's endless.
Nice.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, so today marks the day 3 years ago. Errol Spence Jr. defeated
Who, Kell Brook?
That was an
Brook
incredible
in
fight.
England.
Uh-huh.
Do you?
I remember that.
Yeah. First of all, what did you think about that fight, Cynthia?
I was on the edge of my seat, and I'm like, man, this guy's, you know, he traveled all the way to UK to fight Kell Brook, a national, you know, a hero there, the champion. And I was like, man, you know what? It's balls. Like, these are fighters with balls to go into someone's home country. It's not even a state. It's a different country.
across the
He didn't
world,
have fans there the whole time. He walked out. He was being booed, and I forgot what they bought. Pretty much the whole country bought this thing at the grocery store. They were sold out, and they were throwing it. I don't know. I can't remember.
It was something.
Yeah,
bread.
I forgot
can't
what
remember.
it was. It was something like,
not cornbread. It was
is
something
it like Twinkies or something?
It was
It
a
was
kind of a
something.
pastry, and they threw it at him. And I'm sitting there. I go, wow, I knew Errol Spence, I knew his fighting, but the way he fought against Kell Brook and once that orbital eye went, I'm like, they can't, like, this is your eye. And, I remember watching it at home with a couple media guys like Stephen K.O. Artist and Constantino, Garcia. Wait, I can't remember his name, but we were watching it and I'm like, oh my God, this guy, like, stop it. It's just, all I think about is throw in the towel. He could go blind. I'm scared his eyeball is going to fight. Like, this is your eyeball, his wife is crying. It's just, it's one of those things you have to save the fighter from themselves because to fight really literally another day or he can't see. And then his career is a wrap. But I was so happy for Errol Spence. I mean, for him to bring that title and he fought, I mean, he won outright. Just beautiful performance.
Yeah, and was that the same orbital bone that Triple G had previously?
Nope. The other eye.
That was the other one. Right?
The other one Gennady got. So I'm thinking, I remember I asked Dominic Ingle during for what was that? During the YouTube fights when Billy Joe fought here.
Okay.
During the Staples Center.
Yeah.
Because Dominic Ingle was Kell Brook's trainer at the time and now Billy Joe's. I'm like, with Kell Brook, you're his trainer, also kind of like a father figure. You've known him forever. Isn't there a point that you say, you know what, both your eyes, you shouldn't fight? It's, those are your eyes. It's your sight. And he says, he knows what's best. And I know he knows what's best for him. I'm like, sometimes they don't. You could always say you have to save them from themselves. But I don't know. He did all right. He fought not too long ago. He did well, but I didn't really see the whole fight because my DAZN kept going in and out. So I don't know. But I heard that he did fight pretty well. Okay. But would I want to see him? I don't know who he would fight.
Amir Khan.
Amir Khan, that's the last big.
Oh yeah, that's the fight. Honestly, that should be the fight and donezo. It's a wrap. Yeah. Do it in UK.
In the garden.
At the new garden.
That's your fight. Both of you. Whoever wins, retirement, done.
Yeah, I feel like that's like one of those fights where
Victor Ortiz, Bam Bam Reels.
Yep. Explain what
yeah.
That's one of those fights where these guys don't want to fight because they don't want to have that L next to their name from that other guy. I think that's
Well, I mean, but Victor Ortiz, I think will get in the ring. I mean, I know the whole thing with Errol Spence, and people are like, "Oh my God, they're talking shit." I go, "Well, they know each other. It's just Errol's older, but eventually they will have to fight if Errol stays at this weight. But also Victor is growing, so I mean, Virgil is young and he's growing. So depending on when he can fight next, because he was supposed to fight right before this quarantine got killed everything. Well, excuse me, I don't want to say that. Shut everything down. But I would love to see Virgil and Errol fight. I think that would be a great fight. Skill versus skill.
Down the road, that would be a great fight.
Virgil Ortiz is a real deal, man.
Yeah, he really is. He really is legit. I like that kid a lot. He's solid.
I think we shared with you, right? I always share this with people. Did you know like he's not allowed to have a girlfriend? Can't date?
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, we told you, right?
I wanted to ask him. Yeah. But
who told you that, huh?
Just be a confidential source told me this.
People might be like, why are you trying to hit on him? Ew, no. He's like a brother to me. So I don't know. I could be like a lot of their moms. Seriously.
But yeah, I wonder. I'm sure that's still up there because he's still very ultra focused, very very focused young man. Good, yeah, he has a good team. His dad, he's guiding him in the right way. But yeah, that's a great fight. Errol Spence and Virgil down the road. That's gonna be a tough fight for Errol for sure. This kid is different. So
what sucks is that their careers are on pause though, especially for the younger guys. Like we mentioned, Ryan Garcia. Now people want him to skip that step of fighting a guy like Linares and go straight to a
world title type,
to a guy like Gervonta or Devin Haney, right? And I feel like a lot of these guys kind of feel maybe a little pressure to do it because now they're like, hey, see, nothing is guaranteed, right? Look at what happened.
Nothing is guaranteed. Because we don't know, God forbid, that we go into another quarantine in the fall. Because, I mean, if we barely open up now, look at how long we've been in quarantine? Like 3 months? Well, I've been in quarantine when I got back from Texas, basically.
Yeah.
So
Almost 3 months. Yeah.
Almost 3 months. Yeah.
yeah, so imagine if it got, if it comes back in the fall. Oh Lord.
Yeah, I'm hearing that the big hotspot now is South America. Like that's now the first.
Brazil.
Yeah, first it was China, then Italy, and then the States. And now it's like Brazil, South America. They're getting hit. They're starting to get hit, and yeah.
Well, down in Imperial County where Andy Ruiz, like down there by San Diego, around that area, that was a hot spot. A couple, like last week maybe. They had a surge of infections, and it's not in Mexico, so they had a lot of those cases going to San Diego to open up hospitals for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what fights are going to be made? As of now, it's, you can see who's the A side and the B side, and the fight's scheduled as of now in June, right? July and August. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I just saw Courtney. He said now UFC's putting in more strict testing. How much more strict testing can there be? They're already being tested every day. Is it a different test? I know that there's that nose test. There is a test that they find in like 20 seconds or something, but I don't know how foolproof a lot of these tests are. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm curious to see. I know that Bob Arum, I mean, obviously that's where the promotion company has to put in the most money, is the testing. So I'm curious to see what kind of testing they're going to do. And yeah, I'm just curious. I'm just curious how they're all going to roll boxing out. So we shall see June 9th.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely going to set the stage for the remainder of the year. See how those fights play out. Nicaragua was like the first of the comeback of boxing. We'll see what happens, and so
yeah. It'll be good. It'll be fun to see, and well, I mean, for us, we're gonna really see like what their coach. I want to hear what their coaches say in the corner. I love to hear what the coaches say.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't think in boxing we've ever had that, right? In sports like soccer, when sometimes the fans get banned and they have to fight without fans. I mean, play without fans. We've seen it before, but in boxing,
oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, sometimes when soccer fans start riots or whatnot, during or after the game, sometimes they get banned, and the next couple games they have to play without fans. So we've seen it, and it's very interesting. But now the boxing, it's gonna be like UFC. You're gonna hear every punch. Probably going to hear the instructions. I even heard that in one of the fights, you can hear Joe Rogan and somebody else having a conversation on the side in the middle of the fight, and then they kind of caught themselves, and we're like, oh, shoot, they can hear us.
Yeah, because you don't realize that how loud you are when there's no crowd. I mean, it's second nature to just have a conversation, even like when you have your headphones on in general. You're like, why are you screaming? You're like, oh, what? I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like when you get early to the fights, right, you're the only one there, so you're screaming. You can hear the corner and everything, but throughout the whole event, it's gonna be interesting. It's like being mic'd up in a way. You get to hear everything. So that should be fun. That's gonna be the fun aspect of that, I guess.
Yeah. Besides boxing, Cynthia, what are you most looking forward to? What other sports? Football. You're a football fan, right?
Yeah, I'm excited.
What's the word on football? When are they coming back, or what's their plan?
I don't know. I mean, we just saw the draft, so that was fun to watch. But I know Patriots are supposed to. Well, I'm a Pats fan, so I don't know. I don't really know when NFL is supposed to start, but I know that they're fighting. They're playing in December, like I think a week after each other. Like the way that they scheduled their games, that they'll do 2 games home or wherever they're at, so it's not as much traveling. But I haven't really followed football since the draft.
Didn't Tom Brady get traded or something?
And Gronk is back apparently.
Oh, wow. Is he back?
But he's back that's what they said with Tampa Bay.
With Brady, yeah. That's
right. Really?
Yeah. Huh. That's his buddy, man. Getting that check together.
But it's all right. It's all right. I'm like, it's all right. We'll see. Well, I mean, I'm just happy that it will be back. I just, I want to see, is it Allegiant Stadium in Vegas?
The new one, the Raiders.
The Raiders Stadium. Is the one here done yet or not yet?
The rounds.
Imagine they
think
build
next
these
year.
bajillion-dollar stadiums, and you can't even have fans in it.
Right. Wow. That's funny.
Wow. Talk about money lost.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I just thought about that.
Yeah. Whew.
Kind of like the Olympics right now. They're pushing it to next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure
They haven't pushed it yet? I thought they...
Yeah, they pushed it for 21 apparently.
Yeah, I remember. They were getting a lot of flack for not postponing it or like not doing anything. And I'm like, it's a pandemic.
Yeah.
No one can travel to another country to even try to work out, to do anything. We can't even work out at a gym. So what makes you think you're going to be able to go do an in or whatever sport to compete?
Yeah, we're working out here in this, like the studio becomes a gym after this. We have like the guys come in it. Man.
No, I get it. I mean, it's hard. It's the new normal for us. And it's weird that, you know, some people don't believe in the mask, some people don't believe in the virus. And I'm just kind of like, you know what? If you don't wear a mask, it's weird now. It's kind of like, why aren't you wearing a mask?
Feel a little guilty, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and I'm just, you know, if people don't believe in it, it's like, at least do it out of respect for the other person. It's kind of like when you smoke in a restaurant, you're not supposed to, or wear a shirt. If you wear no shirt, no shoes, no service, I feel like it's the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm. It's like when you run to the store, you forget your mask. You're like, I forgot my mask.
Yeah.
Have you called out anybody for not wearing, or have you seen any of that out there, Cynthia? I know you've mostly been at home.
Yeah, I've seen it, and I just kind of steer away because I'm not going to go confront someone because it's it's a really touchy subject, and especially what you see in the news right now, what's been going on. A lot of hatred, a lot of like hate crimes, a lot of just a lot of bad things that are happening that in the world that it shouldn't be happening on top of a pandemic.
Yeah.
So I just kind of go the other way. I'm not gonna, God forbid, I don't want to lose my life over a fucking mask. I don't want, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I saw a very good post by Kuzma from the Lakers. He posted the picture of the gentleman under the cop, basically, right, with the knee on his head. And he said this virus has been here for 400 years, and there's still no vaccine for it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's really sad.
Crazy.
It's sad. I mean, there was another, the kid that got shot, is his name Aubrey? I can't remember his name, but it's really sad. It's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, it seems like it seems like especially now everybody's at home, like this one really, the way the matter that it went down, you know. I think, and everybody being like quarantined, everybody like really, this one's really hitting big.
Well, they're closing. I just saw someone text me on the 101 that they're shutting down. The 101 freeway to protest tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
By downtown. And you know what? I'm not mad at that because what you saw in that video, like some people didn't see the full video. I saw whatever I saw of the video that people have posted, like up until the end, that they checked his pulse. And I'm like, I don't think he's alive, honestly, just by looking at it. And I'm like, oh, this is bad. And I'm like, it's just, it was just inhumane. It was the most one of the most disgusting things I've seen. When you hear, I can't breathe, I can't move, I can't, like, and he just is there on his knee, on his neck, obviously, you know, with no oxygen, no, he can't breathe. So I'm just, my heart is with their family, and with the victims. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
definitely. We're almost about 2 hours in.
Wow.
Almost 2 hours in. So let's end it on your podcast. Let's promote your podcast. You said new episode out tomorrow, correct?
New episode drops tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I actually put a time because I'm like, I will be accountable. Just drop it. It's already done. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's of Sean Oakman, defensive end football player for former Baylor Bears, Baylor University, and XFL Wildcats. Rest in peace, Wildcats.
You have the XFL, right? It's gone?
Yeah, they had to shut business
crazy.
Because this pandemic. And they had 5 games in, and it was a promising league. they had the numbers on that for people to watch. It was kind of like the appetizer to NFL. We're like, but this was so fun and good. It's just, anything, any kind of football, any kind of sport, just to get people going. But he really tells his life story, and it's good. It's good. You guys will really enjoy it, and I'm curious to see where he's going to end up once this pandemic lifts, and we'll see where it goes from there. But it drops tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Anchor.fm, also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Perfect. And then one last question: what are some goals that you want to accomplish through this new podcast of yours, Cynthia?
I want to reach the masses with different types of people, not necessarily boxers or athletes, just any regular person that you could be your neighbor, could be your sister, it could be anyone that someone can relate to. Because I know we look at athletes in a different way, but they're just like everyone else. They live, breathe, they have a story. And I want to be able to just tell real stories about real people and touch people's lives, because someone is suffering, someone is going through something that they have gone through and they feel like they're alone. But I want them to know that they're not, that there are people out there that have gone through what they've gone through. And this is what they've done. And this is their story. And maybe they can look at them and say, I can do it too.
Hey, there we go. Nice.
Good, yeah.
Bye.
All right. Any last words before we get out of here, Cynthia? Where can we find you? YouTube channel, Instagram, all that good stuff.
Yeah, my YouTube is at the Real Fight with Cynthia Conte, same as my podcast. Instagram is at The Real Fight Girl. Twitter is at Cynthia_Conte. And you can also see my other interviews for Ring Magazine, which is Ring Digital YouTube channel. And then, so make sure you guys tune into my podcast. And then after that, episode 4 drops, and that's another audio series. Can't tell you who it is, but it's mega.
Ooh, nice.
It's terrible now. You would not believe who that person was.
Nice.
All right, well, Cynthia, thank you for joining us once again. Great combo, great seeing you. Good to know that you're doing well, and digging into your creative side with the podcast and all the content that you're putting out there.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I hope you guys are stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully I'll see you guys at the fights one day. Live fights eventually. If not, this is not bad. We're learning Zoom and all these new fancy schmancy tech things.
Yeah, this is pretty convenient, right?
Yeah.
Really is. I mean, dress professionally up on top, pajamas on the bottom.
I'm only dressed from like the waist up. Everything.
Me too. I don't have to wear a heel. I mean, I miss wearing my high heels, but I don't really miss wearing makeup or eyelashes. Okay. So I'm not mad at that. But I miss seeing people. I miss hugging people. Yeah. I miss I just miss people in general. I'll talk to anybody at this. I love going to the grocery store so I can just talk to somebody, anybody. But no, I want to thank you guys. I appreciate it, and keep up the great work, guys.
Hey,
thank you very much. And let's send some last shout outs here in the comment section. Shout out to Courtney Harden for joining us. Thank you guys for your comments. Shout out to Sean, Just Boxing Live. Shout out to Dr. Ooze podcast. Make sure to check that out. Our friend from the UK. He has good boxing content. He has good content on just general health, things like that. He's supposed to release an interview soon with Manny Robles, and he has one with Alex Ariza as well. So check that out.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Shout out to all our friends from the UK. Hope you guys are doing well.
Hey. Now, Cynthia, just want to thank you for being on the show. You're part of the family. You're, like one of the regulars, and so we want to thank you.
Unofficial member.
So anybody that's watching, support her, follow her. She's one of the premier interviewers, not just in boxing, but in sports as a whole. And, future storyteller. I know you have a lot of stories that you're going to share that's going to impact not just boxing, but the sports world. So just keep doing your thing, Cynthia. We're going to keep supporting you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, that makes me happy. Thank you. Oh, I'm emotional today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining us. This was Against the Ropes, episode 89. Thank you, Cynthia, once again. Make sure to check her out on all the platforms. Make sure to follow us on all platforms as well. And that's been it for us, folks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.
Bye.
You know what? Let's end it with a round of applause here.
Yeah. I want to end it with Cynthia's line. Do your line, Cynthia.
It's fight night, bitches!
Hey.
See you guys.
Hola amigos, soy Juan Francisco AtR. Quiero mandar un saludo para mis amigos de Contra las Cuerdas. Échenle muchas ganas, un abrazo, muchas bendiciones.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. You know what mine is? Let's box, bitches. It's almost fight night.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. So thank you and best wishes.
Huge shout out to Against the Ropes.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you guys for the interview, and hope to see you guys soon.
Against the Ropes, always doing the right thing.
Shout out to Against the Ropes, man. I appreciate you guys for having me, taking the time out y'all day.
Against the Ropes, #1.
Freddie Roach.
Thank you very much.